Hey there guys, Jared here, aka Sergeant Siage, back again here with another video, and today we're going to be going over what I would think to be, maybe if not a top contender, it's got to be one of the top contenders for better designer releases of the year. In terms of like versatility and in terms of scent profile and all of that kind of stuff, I actually think they did a pretty good job on this one. And if you saw the title of the video, I think it's one of the better blues that is out now, and I think it should be talked about and considered for, if not, to put in the top four, blues that are out there right now in terms of like designers. I'm talking like your Dior Sauvages, your Bleu de Chanel's, your Dylan Blue, and your YSLY here. I would say that in terms of right now, whenever it comes, to people liking one of those blues, I would say like YSLY is probably the one that's talked about the most nowadays. But my personal favorite out of those four would be Sauvage EDP, not the EDT, the EDP. But I'm not a big fan of Bleu de Chanel. I'd probably put that in last. And for beginners, or if you're just looking for a cheapy blue, I always tell people go buy Dylan Blue because it's fantastic. I get good longevity on my skin. Maybe not the best projecting out of the bunch here, but I get pretty good solid projection out of it too. But today we're going to be talking about Polo 67 EDP. Now, I talked about this earlier this year because I got a little decant of it whenever my wife ordered some stuff from Sephora, and it turned out to be pretty good. This was like the first Ralph Lauren, thing that I smelled for quite some time here because I had bad experiences with the house prior, and I thought it was actually like pretty good. It was so good, in fact, here that it made me go buy the EDT a little bit ago. I think this was back in like April that I ended up picking this up. It was either March or April that I picked this up. And I've actually worn this quite a bit through the summer here. So I've got a little bit of a dent in this thing. And yeah, it has good, for an EDT, it has pretty good longevity and it has like really good projection in the high heat. So this, not as good in the projection department, I would say. But in terms of longevity, I probably get about an hour more with this. And this, to me, at least, whenever I look at these two, I'm not saying that the scent profile is the exact same here. I'm saying that I think they went the same direction in terms of whenever you look at like what the scent is itself. So like you're not going to get any apple or anything like that in this like you do in YSLY, but the EDT in YSLY was a little bit fresher, a little bit better for the higher heat. The EDP was a little bit more fruitier, a little bit more depth with the woods and that kind of stuff. It's a similar aspect here. This one's built around, a little bit more freshness and sage and yellow florals, it feels like. This one's built around, that pineapple, also has pineapple in it. But this one's built more around the pineapple, a little bit more spice in the top here with like a pinch of cardamom. And it's also built around the lavender in here. So you also have cedar and benzoin in this too. So it's a little bit more woodier in the base. And give that benzoin kind of gives it like a, I don't want to say like, it's like a sticky, almost like a, not so syrupy, but it's like a light syrupy nature to, like the fruits that are in here. So, and in the dry down, it's a little bit more creamier too, to my nose at least. But I think this could be a contender for one of the better blues that are out there right now because it's just a Swiss Army knife. It's a good thumb reach thing that you can grab and go. I've given it a couple wearings here, so I really like it a lot here. I gave it a few wearings since I've gotten this because I got this like 3 days ago. And you can start picking this up at discounters now because it's finally starting to get to discounters now. It actually took a little bit of time for this to start seeing, discounters. I picked this up at Joma Shop here. They keep going in and out of stock. I think right now they're out of stock here, but I picked it up for like $77. That's not bad for, 125 ml of, a fragrance that you can wear pretty much all year round, especially during, like, I would say this is like spring, summer, fall, especially here. We're going to be going right into that fall time here soon. So this is pretty good for that time of year. I would say that's actually where probably it shines the most, is the spring and the fall. Whereas this would be like the high heat of summer. So there you go. So I really like this a lot. Where would I place this in the terms of like those blues? My personal favorite is the EDP from Sauvage. I'd probably slide it right in after that. Not that I don't like YSLY EDP, it's just that I'm beginning to get a little bit tired of it here because it was like something that I smelt for a good bit. So I would probably slide it in right after that, and then I would put Dylan Blue, and then I'd probably put YSLY, and then Bleu de Chanel is my least favorite just because I just don't get excited about wearing it. I personally think it too that for the cost point here, it is really expensive for what it is. Yeah, you're going to get compliments wearing it and stuff, but are you actually going to be excited to wear it? Probably not. It's just like one of those scents here that's like, all right, cool. But yeah, overall, what am I getting out of this? I said a good 8 hours here because I'm going to get about an hour more. I usually get about 7-ish hours here with this. I'm getting about 8 hours, a little bit less projection here. I would say okay projection for the first hour and a half, and then kind of starts to settle down a little bit. But I usually get about 8 hours with this. Seems like it's pretty solid on, moderate projection and stuff like that here. But in terms of longevity, that's what I'm getting. Scent profile has been really good. Like you have the mandarin, the bergamot, and the cardamom on the top here. I believe you have that's where you have the pineapple, the lavender, it has sesame in it, and the cypress the cypress in this here too. Cypress is also something my nose picks up on. It's faint in this, but it's something that I really enjoy in perfumery too, and I like it a lot. So, yep. And then you have the base here of the benzoin, vetiver, and the cedar in here too. So, overall, I really like this stuff. I think it's a contender for the best, maybe the best designer release of 2025. I think there's some other ones that are out there too that deserve mention here because, like, I just got the decant for Ralph Lauren New York. I think that one's actually pretty good too. It's another one from the same house that's pretty good. Extra Dose. You have the Azzaro's Elixir that came out here earlier in the year. So we're going to be going into the fall and winter time, so that's going to be a pretty good wear. But I still like the Most Wanted Parfum a little bit better than I like that. But Extra Dose was pretty good. But if you have like Born in Roma Intense, I don't think you really need to go out and buy that. So yeah, I would say here right now, if you're looking at it, I would probably put this either near the top or Ralph Club's New York probably near the top. Just because that one's a Swiss Army knife too. You can wear that dressed up, dressed down. Doesn't really matter what you're doing. You can go and wear that one too. But my personal rating for this, I gave this an 8 out of 10, if I remember correctly. This is getting a 9, and it's losing some half points here because of its projection, and I'd probably say that it probably loses a little, maybe most of that is going to be its projection, actually. But in terms of anything else that I would see that's like a weakness for this, I don't know if this is enough to like cut through the cold or anything like that. So we'll see. We'll test it out here. But I think here today's like pretty hot here yet, and then this start of this week here, it is supposed to be cooling off a little bit, like below 80, I think. So that's going to be a good time to give this a little bit more wearings and see how this is going to do. But that's going to wrap it up here for today's video. I'd personally give this a 9 out of 10. I have a few other videos. We're going to be finally doing the scent rotation here for the week and go from there. I was hoping to do this in like a fragrance haul video, but the other two things here are not coming until either tomorrow or Tuesday. I'm filming this on a Sunday, so that'll give you an idea of what, you know, I kind of try to schedule this around here. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. We'll go into the scent rotation or the other two things that are coming next. It'll either be one or the other, and then right after that will be the other thing. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.